I've had a rough week, and because of this, I decided to once again play one of my favorites. My childhood favorites. Sly Cooper 3. Honor Amongst Thieves. But as I played this game, I realized something. The Sly Cooper franchise is written very well. Excluding number 4. We're not going to even look at number 4. That doesn't exist. Number 4 doesn't exist. It just does not exist. But with that being said, it is time that we speak upon the legend, the thief with the hearts of gold. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It is a video on Sly Cooper. Roll the intro. So Sly, in my opinion, sits on the throne of royalty when it comes to the PlayStation Golden era of video games. He stands on the same level of respect as Dante from Devil May Cry, Jack from the Jak and Daxter series, Snake from Metal Gear Solid, Sora from Kingdom Hearts, and many, many more from the early 2000s. And it's not solely because of the gameplay, but the gameplay in the game is very cool. No, it's because of the weight of the story that they tell. The reason why I believe Sly stands amongst the greats is because of his story, and that is something we're going to talk about today. The first game is called Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus, and honestly, there isn't much to Sly's personality in the first game. In my opinion, though, that's actually a good thing. Here's why. The game doesn't really focus on Sly that much. It really focuses more on his goal, and that goal is to fix the book, the Thievius Raccoonus. The game doesn't waste time when it comes to Sly as a character. He's a young man that lost his family to the Fiendish Five when he was just a child. He was forced to watch his father helplessly from the closet as the Fiendish Five broke into his home and took out his daddy.
Once again, my gang and I had given Inspector Carmelita Fox the slip. I was surprised to see how well she took it. Finally, the secret police file I'd been searching for all these years. With this, I could avenge my family and regain possession of our most valued treasure. It all began when I was just a kid, bouncing on my father's knee. You see, I come from a long line of master thieves who kept all their secrets of sneaking and stealing in an ancient book, the Thievius Raccoonus. Anyone who read it learned to be especially sneaky, which is why we specialize in stealing from criminals. After all, there's no honor, no challenge, no fun stealing from ordinary people. You rip off a master criminal, and you know you're a master thief. Well, on the night I was supposed to inherit the book, 5 visitors came unannounced to our door. My father fought to protect us, but the gang of villains known as the Fiendish Five overpowered him and ransacked our house until they found the Thievius Raccoonus. Our family's manual of thieving greatness fell into their filthy hands. They tore the book into 5 pieces and split it up, each villain disappearing to the farthest corners of the world to commit dastardly crimes.
Sly's story isn't really supposed to be that deep, it's supposed to be simple. It's straightforward to explain why Sly is the way he is. It's created to be a very simple concept that children can understand. See, in my opinion, Sly Cooper 1, let alone the entire series, is a starter game for kids. It's a simple story with a lot of great design, great gameplay, fun characters. While the story does have dark elements to it, it's not over the edge or too much for a child. And I think this is why Sly's personality isn't that much in the first game. I believe the writers wanted to focus more on the gameplay and the goals of Sly than to sit down and analyze Sly as a character. And I think that's a great thing. He's still a good character. If anything, the first game is more of an introduction into the world of Sly Cooper rather than a deep dive into him being a thief and his bloodlines. With that being said, we can still work with what we got from the first game. When it comes to Sly's personality, Sly is still a young man, on the hunt to destroy the Fiendish Five, something the cops apparently never did. No, seriously, let's sit down and think about this for a second. Sly watched his daddy get eliminated in his own home by a notorious criminal gang, yet no one thought maybe we should look into this. Why was Sly's father targeted? Or maybe, I don't know, put Sly in witness protection program? Maybe keep tabs on the child whose dad was a victim of a criminal gang. if you think about it, where was Sly's justice? Sly had every right to be a thief just in general. Imagine losing your family, and instead of getting the justice against the people who did you wrong, those people begin to live luxurious lives while getting richer, as well as continuing to assault and hurt innocent people. Like, the cops are completely useless in this world, let's be honest. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Carmelita, but everybody in your unit is completely useless. I'm sorry. Because, like, I would be so mad if I was Sly. You have to look at it through realistic eyes as well. See, Sly is kind of trapped in his legacy. If Sly even chose to live a normal life, what would have stopped Clockwork from hunting Sly down and ending his life? I know that sounds a bit bizarre and a little too out there, but we are talking about a bird who turned himself immortal just to hunt down a bloodline of raccoons. I hardly doubt he would have forgotten about Sly, let alone let him live if he found out where Sly was in years later if Sly didn't become a thief. So Sly had to become a thief for his own protection, because clearly the cops weren't doing their job in protecting him. They just threw him into an orphanage and called it a day. Sly had every reason to become a bitter person and maybe become something even worse. Had it not been for his friends, he would have probably fallen into a deep depression and become a monster. But it was thanks to his friends, as well as his code of honor amongst the Cooper bloodline, that kept Sly on the right path. He even says this to the Panda King.
See you carry Kane of notorious Cooper thief clan. Have you come here for revenge? To steal back the thievius raccoonus?
That was my plan at first, but now I'm more interested in putting an end to your avalanche extortion racket.
Why should you care if I bury a few worthless village in snow? You are a thief, just like me.
No, that's only half right. I am a thief from a long line of master thieves, while you're just a frustrated firework artist turned homicidal pyromaniac.
Insolent child.
That is an honest truth. Sly doesn't want to hurt people. Heck, if half of the bosses just gave Sly the pages to the book, he really wouldn't have fought them. Well, some of them. And this shows a lot for his character in the first game. See, Sly is a very compassionate and caring person. Even if you wrong him, he's willing to extend an olive branch to make things right, which is such a unique thing about Sly. One could say Sly is getting his revenge against the people who wronged him.
We have a guest. The only thing is, I hate unexpected guests.
Listen, Raleigh, wipe up my family and steal what's mine, you'd better expect company.
Harriet!
Which is 100% true. But the story isn't truly written as a revenge game. While Sly does hate the Five, his main goal isn't hurting the Five, it's just getting the pages back.
Pledge to track down the fiendish Five, avenge my father, and steal back the thievius raccoonus.
It's only until he sees the suffering that the Five are causing the world is when he decides, yeah, it's time to put you guys down.
I could feel that Cooper vibe a-coming. Most distastefully bad juju.
Yeah, well, you give me the creeps too, lady.
How delightful. We have a guest. The only thing is, I hate unexpected guests.
Listen, Raleigh, wipe up my family and steal what's mine, you'd better expect company.
And this is it? You're a monkey wrench in my operation? Some scrawny rat with a stick? Wait a second. I seen that stick before.
Maybe when my father knocked your block off with it.
Unlike the cops, who ain't do shit. Seriously, y'all are useless. With that being said, Sly is still a person with a heart of gold who tries to see the good in everybody, even the ones who wronged him. For example, he could have left Carmelita to die under Clockwork, but he risked his own life to save her. And in the end, it still worked in his favor because she helps him defeat Clockwork. This heart of gold is the reason why his friends are so brave. Sly is the leader of his gang, and like a leader, you have to push your allies to be the best versions of themselves. And that's what he does. Even though sometimes he kind of comes off as rude. No, I'm not gonna lie here. Sly was kind of a dick to his friends sometimes. He even called Murray a burden.
And Murray, part-time driver and full-time burden.
However, Sly does recognize his friends and loved ones regardless. He even acknowledges that he would have never gotten this far without them. And we're going to put a pin in Sly's relationship with his friends because this is also very important to his story as well as the Sly Cooper story in general. But besides that, there really isn't much to his personality in the first game. The next two games, however, is when the series delves into Sly's personality and shows us the changes of his character as his story continues to its finish line. So Sly Cooper 2 takes place 2 years after the first game, and it is in this game is where Sly as a character really begins to show. Sly 2, in my opinion, is where things kind of get really dark when it comes to the trilogy, and it puts Sly into a more serious mode. Sly 2 takes place after defeating Clockwork, and Sly and the gang are on the hunt for all the parts because they don't want this bird coming back alive. Sadly to say, another famous gang had gotten all the Clockwork parts before Sly can even find them. So now Sly and his gang gotta go hunt down all the Clockwork parts so he can make sure that this demonic bird doesn't come back to life. And I'm sitting here like, oh. Because in my brain, I thought, wait a minute, does this mean Clockwork is technically still alive if the parts aren't gone? Like, I have so many questions when it comes to the Clockwork character and his body armor, but that's a topic for another day. Anyway, skipping the chase scene, we are also introduced to Nayla, what's this purple tiger? Whatever. She's important, but I don't care for her, so after escaping the two, Sly, yet again, has to go off and take down another ruthless gang. And the game kind of acts similar to that of the first game. You know, you go into different levels, you play around, you joke around, this and that. And even with the addition of Bentley and Murray, who are also playable characters, I still believe that the first level of this game was based off of Sly Cooper 1. And to me, it feels like the game is trying to make you believe that everything is going to be the same as the first game, which is one of the reasons why I love how the dark twist turn changes everything. See, after Raja's level, things change immediately. And this is because of Nyla, whatever the fuck her name is.
Constable Neela.
Remember when I said Sly had a heart of gold and he tries to see the good in everything and everyone? Yeah, that sort of backfires in the second game.
Someone off? You really do the job.
Yes, you do seem to have quite a talent for it.
Constable Neela, slumming it with the thieves again?
That man is an illegal spice trader. He should be brought to justice.
All I'm after is the Clockwork part. You help me take him down, and the bust is all yours.
Just try to keep up.
Neela, now!
Sorry.
What are you doing?
See, Purple Tiger over here and Sly kind of begin to have a relationship. She's no, she isn't kind of. She's two-faced. She helps Sly behind the scenes so that she can get her prey. You know, kind of doing a Carmelita without Carmelita knowing. And Carmelita also hates her ass. And I agree. I hate Nayla, whatever the fuck her name is.
Constable Neela.
But as these two are working together, they begin to flirt. They begin to talk even more. And we see Sly kind of, you know, develop feelings for Nyla, which is going to backfire in his face so badly.
We meet again.
Constable Neela, thanks for not ratting me out back at the ball.
Oh, I should be thanking you. The look on Carmelita's face was priceless.
She took it hard, huh?
No one likes to have their affections played with.
I know I certainly don't. Look, Neela, as soon as this India job is over, why don't you and I go out on the town? We'll dance through Bollywood and eat curry all night long.
Because she betrays them and then gets him and Murray and Carmelita. But Sly and Murray locked up. This is where Sly's character begins to change.
Sly Cooper. Such a complex and rebellious mind. A month or two in the hole should break his spirit. Let him squat there week after week. There is no escape. Slowly, the reality of his captivity will set in, and I'll get to work on his mind.
Sly becomes more serious. He's always cautious. He still makes jokes here and there, But now we're seeing Sly being more scared and angry at people. He's furious at the crimes that Madam Web over here has been committing against people, as well as the fact that for once, he was beaten by somebody who he trusted. Like, say what you want about Carmelita, at least Sly knows she will keep her word by the end of the day and not backstab you. She could have shot Sly at any moment in the first game and she didn't. That's how you know she's a true G. Unlike Miss Purple Tiger over here, I'm sorry, I hate her. Understand, I have rage against this character. Like, I hate her on the same level as Clockwork. I don't like her, and you're gonna see why. Because Nyla over here,
Constable Neela,
wouldn't just stab you, she would giggle as she watches you bleed on the ground. That's how dirty she is. Nyla betrays Carmelita and Sly, and the Contessa throws him into the hole. This changes Sly completely. First off, it puts him in a place where he needs to be saved, which isn't something he's used to, since he is the leader of his gang. He is used to doing the heavy lifting of his group, but now he must solely rely on Bentley to get him and Murray out. This turns him into a more cautious but protective person when it comes to his group, no longer viewing missions as like fun activities, but rather walking around with caution and fear, because for once, he got captured. This really did change him. And then you have to look at the dark side of the Contessa and what she's doing. This is all written within, I'd say, a kid's view-eyed lens, right? For example, in this series, there was this thing referred to as spices made by another tiger character, Raja. And these spices were supposed to cause people to get angry. Now let's look at spices through an adult lens.
Back wall.
Sly! I'm so glad to see you. They've been forcing me to eat meals covered in spice, and I'm feeling kind of strange.
Oh, that looks bad. I've never seen Murray like this.
He's all twitchy and bug-eyed.
You said Murray was being forced to eat spice, right?
Yeah, he said he was feeling weird.
Well, he's weirded out all right. I doubt he even knows we're here. Clearly, we're going to have to lure him out of that cell the hard way.
Yeah, this woman was drugging people to have them go batshit crazy. And what's worse is that she had different types of plans with Carmelita when it came to this drugs. And she was using the Clockwork Eyes to manipulate people along with the drugs. This gang is fucked up. And when you add the fact that the Contessa was part of the police, it adds more to this weight. Especially Nyla. Nyla, bitch.
Constable Neela,
I'm probably mispronouncing her name this entire time. I don't care. But anyway, this is a very serious shift for Sly. No more playful disguises, no more jokes. He goes full nuclear for the rest of the game. He doesn't play around for each mission. He is literally causing damage to people. In fact, if you think about it, in the second part of the Contessa level, he's okay with people dying in a mini war if it means he gets closer to the Clockwork Eyes and gets back at Contessa. He don't care about lives at this point. He's like, I want everything to burn. It's a huge shift for Sly as a character, because we're not only seeing what he's capable of if he ever became a bad person with no code of honor, but we're also seeing how these events have changed him and will continue to change him into the next game. When we go to the next level, which is in Canada, Sly hasn't jumped off his carefree, loving, colorful personality. Sly is still on edge. He doesn't see the next level as fun, he sees it rather as a job. There is also the element of Bentley and Murray to this as well. Now that Bentley and Murray are field agents, Sly has more to lose in the second game, because if anything happens to Bentley and Murray, Sly would never forgive himself. And sadly to say, what he feared the most happens in the second game, and that is Bentley losing his legs. And this next part is going to be hard for me, and it's also going to fully explain why I fucking hate this purple tiger bitch. So as I said, Sly Cooper 2 gets dark as the game progresses. It just gets really dark, from nightclubs, the uses of drugs, to possibly enslavement and transportation of humans. Yeah, it just gets dark. So they get kidnapped by the lumberjack and they lose all their clockwork parts. that they gather throughout the entirety of the game. After defeating this man, they hop into this egghead-looking device to sneak onto this blimp owned by this bird named, I need to stop going off of memories, Arpeggio. Yeah, that's his name. He's the next villain. Who's a bird? I'm gonna be honest though, he ain't that important.
Frame or...
Anyway, they sneak onto his blimp inside this large battery. And this monologue that Sly gives really does give us an idea of what is to come.
As we shut ourselves into the Northern Light battery, it became black. For a few long minutes, we just sat there in darkness. No one dared to talk for fear that Jean Bisson's men might discover where we were hiding. Time seemed to have stopped. And then, we felt it. We were being lifted up to Arpeggio's blimp. It was all so strange. The focus of all our schemes had been stolen from us. Our clockwork parts were gone. Looking around the inside of the battery, I knew we all felt it. Failure. I was twitchy and ready for action. Any action. Bentley tried to make some sense of the situation by drawing up meaningless plans. But Murray took it the worst. He just sat there sobbing while the team van floated away over the horizon. That van was his life. I knew I'd have to find a way to make it up to him.
And this is something I noticed when I was writing the script, is that Sly doesn't smile as much as the game progresses, which is completely different than the first game. Whenever Sly is going to a new level or is about to defeat a boss, he always smiles and tries to find the positive. But as Sly Cooper 2 continues and in each level things get difficult and more darker, we don't have this colorful, chipper Sly. We have someone who's very serious, on edge, and constantly thinking. Sly does not want to make another mistake, but that is where things turn for the worse, and that's really sad. Sly is done with the Claw Gang. He's beyond pissed at the fact that these people not only kidnapped him multiple times, abused him and his friends, both physically and mentally, but the chances of Clockwork coming back made him even more mad. So he breaks into another blimp and tries to destroy Clockwork, only to accidentally put him back together and turn the suit on.
What's all this then? The magnets have been reversed. But... by Jove, it seems to have locked the clockwork parts into place. Excellent!
Honestly, if I was Sly, I would have jumped Nyla and the bird and just thrown them both over the edge. Like, you can take them. You can definitely take Nyla. Like, seriously. Oh, I have a whip. I have a foot. So Nyla jumps into the bird, and now she's reborn as Clocklaw. And I'm sitting here wondering, why haven't we... Like, seriously, you should have pushed her over this damn edge, and we wouldn't have anything, no problems. But Sly gotta be a good guy. Bitch, I would have karate kicked her over the edge. So Nyla jumps into the bird, and now she's reborn as Clocklaw. And I'm sitting here wondering why we just didn't push her over the edge, but ignore me. So Sly and the gang have to stop Clocklaw from basically driving people insane. After doing a bunch of missions, Carmelita somehow gets in touch with Bentley, and after explaining what's going on, Carmelita drops everything and immediately flies over to help us. And this is why she's a true friend compared to Nyla, because if shit hits the fan, Carmelita's not gonna be like, oh, you guys are criminals. No, she's gonna drop everything, she's gonna find a helicopter, and she's gonna fly over and be like, we need to put this bitch down. And that's why you're Sly's future wife. Forget Sly Cooper 4. Anyway, so Carmelita comes in, we hop into the helicopter, and after unloading a number of bullets into the metal carcass that is Nyla, because technically she is riding a corpse, she still keeps going.
Why won't you die?
So the gang's gotta go to the ground now and put her down for good. Until...
Let's get out of here! She's about to explode! Ah!
Bentley loses his legs. This is a huge moment within the Sly series, but most importantly, it is the first time that Sly has failed to protect his friends. Within most of the 2 games, Sly always pushes his friends, yes, but it came from an umbrella of protection. Sly would only encourage his buddies to jump into danger, but only when he was sure that they could handle it. Even when they got captured, Bentley was able to gather up his strength and go and rescue him and Murray, thanks to Sly's past encouragement. But right here, Sly has failed his friends, and it is a heartbreaking moment. The Cooper gang are at the lowest point of their lives. And if Sly was truly an evil person, he could have just ditched Murray and Bentley. Granted, he could have also come and rescued them. I hardly doubt he wouldn't have had a plan to go rescue his buddies. But Sly isn't that kind of person. He saw the pain of his brothers and was broken when he saw that they left their things behind. As they walked away, Sly had to sit down and recognize the pain he had just caused the 2 most precious people in his life. Watching Murray carry away an unconscious Bentley into the unknown, possibly never to be seen again. It is a heart-wrenching feeling. Sly accepted the possibility of jail and being locked away for the rest of his life in exchange for his brothers' lives. It is the sacrifice of a leader, a good leader. And this good act will greatly reward him, because at some point Bentley and Murray were able to jump the pilot, change into his uniform, take over the helicopter, and then somehow escape without Sly nor Carmelita noticing. I don't care. And thus our ringtail hero leaps out of the helicopter to his freedom on the way to the next adventure with his brothers. On to Sly Cooper 3, Honor Amongst Thieves, ladies and gentlemen! Sly Cooper 3, Honor Amongst Thieves, was the peak of the Sly Cooper series. This game was amazing. It was marvelous. It was the dialogue, the animation, the design of the levels. Everything was just perfect. I loved every second of this game. But most importantly, this game is a great send-off for Sly and his gang of misfits. In the 3rd game, Sly meets one of his father's partners from the past, this large walrus named McSweeney. Not only did this large walrus worked with Sly's father, but he also knows about the Cooper treasure, aka the Cooper Vault, something Sly never heard of nor ever found in the Thievius Raccoonus. So, after getting this information, Sly and Bentley go over to the island to check it out, only to learn that this place is occupied by a mad scientist named Dr. M, which, spoilers now, Dr. M was the 3rd person in the trio group that Sly's father, Connor Cooper, that's his name, ran in the past. And it is clear as day that there is a resemblance between the Cooper gangs. All that is important for later. So Sly and Bentley come to the conclusion that, yeah, we're gonna need a team. And the first person they need to recruit is Murray. And here is where we begin to see the new Sly. Sly is completely changed from the first 2 games, or rather, he's grown up a bit more. First off, Sly doesn't discard other people's feelings like he did before. He sits down and he thinks about how protective and encouraging of both Bentley and Murray. And this is because he almost lost them both in this last game. Bentley literally could have died in the last game. And this guilt hit both Sly and Murray so hard that Murray had to leave the group to find peace within himself. Because of this, Sly carries a heavy, an invisible, but a heavy weight of guilt on his shoulders. He led these 2 down the path of defeating Clockwork, and while the first time everything was a-okay, the second time literally took Bentley's legs and Murray's spirit. Sly is the leader of the group and must lead his friends into a new adventure, while also being constantly reminded of the failure to protect his friends within the 3rd game. And it's because of this reason we see him act completely different in this game. For example, he's not annoyed by Murray like he was in the first game, nor does he push Murray to use his strength when he doesn't feel like it. He respects Murray's word of choice. He doesn't push nor judge him, something he would have probably done in the first game. Instead, he listens and offers up a helping hand to help Murray complete his journey. And when Murray does join the team, Sly is more encouraging of Murray to do other things that don't relate to his brute strength. With Bentley, things are greatly different. First off, Sly shares his position as leader with Bentley in the third game. We see him and Bentley searching for teammates together while also creating plans. They're always paired up in missions, and I believe this plays into Sly's protective nature over Bentley. Because of the events of the second game, Bentley now has to use a chair to get around, and this explains why Sly is on edge all the time when it comes to Bentley doing field work, which is funny to me because if you look at the third game and the first game, you would see how the personality switched up entirely.
Sly, come in! Sly, do you read me?
Yeah, I read you. Loud and very loud.
Sorry, I'm a little nervous. Trying to break into police headquarters does that.
Get over it, Bentley. You're safe in the van. I'm the thief here.
Aha! A perfect feral specimen of Lupus gigantormus.
So let me get this straight again. You plan on stalking that thing, drugging it, putting the guru on board, and setting the two free to smash up the guards?
An airtight plan, I agree. It's simplicity itself. By channeling the wild destruction housed in that bloodthirsty creature, we should be able to thin out the Black Baron's ranks. Which, of course, means fewer enemy pilots flying against you in the finals.
I'm all for evening the odds in our favor, but come on. This plan seems a little risky.
Not at all.
Sly is more the worried one and the concerned one over Bentley. Sly doesn't want Bentley to push himself too hard, let alone do certain missions without Sly being there to assist. Bentley also takes the role of second in command of the Cooper gang. For one, Sly is sharing a position of leadership. By doing this, he is allowing Bentley to have some sort of control in his own life. Sly realized that Bentley needs to feel capable and in control after his own injury, and this is possibly one of the reasons why he's second in command. And if you think that's too much, remember, Bentley convinced Sly to recruit the Panda King, aka one of the members of the Fiendish Five responsible for killing Connor Cooper, aka Sly's daddy.
After a careful analysis of Dr. M's fortress, Bentley came to the difficult conclusion that his demolition skills just weren't going to be enough. If we wanted to get inside the Cooper vault, we'd have to recruit a full-time demolition specialist. However, Bentley's proposed candidate was a shock. My old enemy, the Panda King. As a member of the original Fiendish Five, he had a part in taking out my dad and stealing pages from the Thievius Raccoonus. Eventually, I caught up with him, and I claimed back what he had stolen. There was no way I was gonna let that monster on my team, but Bentley was firm. He discovered the Panda King had left his life of crime and was now a monk living the life of quiet meditation high up in the mountains. I wasn't at all convinced, but there was no denying that he had the skills we needed if we were to succeed.
That's a big thing to ask. But Sly complies because he wants Bentley to not feel small within the group. And this plays back with Dr. M. See, Dr. M reveals to both Sly and Bentley that he used to be the brains of the trio when he worked with Connor Cooper.
Headstrong, just like your father.
You don't know anything about me or my father.
Really? Well, who let you in on the secret of this place, eh? Was it my old pal McSweeney, perhaps?
Sweeney works for you? This was all a setup to get the cane.
No, no. Once upon a time, he and I worked together for your dear old dad.
My father wouldn't have run with a guy who tried to steal from the Cooper vault, let alone attempt to kill his son.
Time does strange things to people. Just like the real leader of your gang, Bentley.
Whatever, we're friends, equals.
Then why is it called the Cooper Gang, you self-centered egomaniac?
That's enough.
The problem is, Connor Cooper made him feel small and not important, and he used this to try and convince Bentley that Sly was gonna, backstab him in the future. However, Sly is anything but his daddy.
Sly, this place was built for you. We'll hold down the fort here.
This is going to be the payday of all time.
Think of all the loot piled up back there.
Do you ever feel like you're playing second fiddle to Sly? Like he treats us as sidekicks?
No way! Sly's cool! We're all in this together!
Sure, we're all here, but are we equal? Who went into the vault? Sly. By himself.
Watch out!
Dr. M's goons? They must have forced the door after we opened the lock.
Think of it this way, Bentley. If it were you in that vault and Sly and I were out here, what would he do?
Stop these thugs and protect his friend.
Right, and that's what I'm gonna do. Keep your head down, stay clear. I'm gonna smash a lot of skulls, and I don't want yours to be one of them.
Ah, Murray. You're much stronger than McSweeney ever was.
That's right, plughead. I'm like a semi-truck with its brakes cut.
I don't have time to get in a screaming match with a caveman like yourself.
Then lock horns with me. Think you'll find I'm a better match.
I have no fight with you, Bentley. You and I are the same.
I gather you were the technical specialist working with Sly's father?
You knew Sly's dad?
Quiet, caveman. The adults are talking. That's right, Bentley. I know the pain you suffer working under your inferior.
It's no secret I'm smarter than the other guys, but there's more to it than that.
Like what?
Like brotherhood.
Brotherhood? That's just what he wants you to think. It's a tool to keep you in line.
No, that's the thing that keeps us happy and alive. It's why I'm going to stop you.
And me too.
Fine, Cooper Gang. I tried.
In Sly Cooper 3, Sly's canon ending, mind you, we're not talking about the fourth one. Sly Cooper 3 acts as not only the final game of the trilogy, but it's also the goodbye of Sly's past. See, Sly recruits 3 villains from all 3 games. Panicking from the first one, Dimitri from the second, and Penelope from the third. He puts aside his differences while also placing himself into their shoes. This allows Sly to create a bond of trust that will help him get to his family treasure. By his own good deeds, he inspires others to follow and be better versions of themselves. Take the Panda King, for example, the man who helped Clockwork end Connor's life. In the third game, he's in the exact position as Sly was when he was a kid. He is powerless to save the person he loves, and he is forced to watch them suffer. Sly could easily say, forget it, you deserve it, but he understands exactly the position the Panda King's daughter is in, and he refuses to let her suffer for the sins of her daddy. And then you have to look at the final part of Sly's journey, which is the end. After all the events of the game, Sly has finally gotten a team, and now they're able to break into the vault. Eventually, Dr. M and Sly battle out, but before they do, Dr. M explains to Sly how Coopers just use people. And Sly smacks some sense into that purple monkey before telling him, look, I'm not my daddy. I don't know what happened between you two, but I am not my daddy, and I will never do that to my friends.
You've got some moxie, Sly. I'll give you that.
I don't know what went down between you and my father, but I'm telling you, it's not the same with me and Bentley.
You might be right. He risked his life to defend you.
I'd do the same for him.
Funny, your father was never such a good friend.
We're all individuals. I might be part of all this, a member of the Cooper line, but in the end, I'm just me. Not Henriette, Thaddeus, Slight and Common, Ryoichi, or my father. Just Sly.
Please, keep your touchy-feely rhetoric to yourself. I can't stomach it. You crew is a bunch of dirty, attention-grubbing thieves. All of you, thieves!
Period. However, Dr. M doesn't accept this and just blasts Sly into the next world. Luckily for us, Carmelita comes in and saves him yet again, because honestly, that's what she does in all of the games, now that I think about it. Turning over his cane, Sly gives up his life of crime and becomes an officer of the law, turning his back on his legacy for the freedom of love. And in the words of Bentley, that sneaky raccoon indeed.
That sneaky devil.
In the end, Sly's story isn't about a thief with a heart of gold. It's about a cycle of honor and blood, as well as anger for forgiveness. Sly was born into a legacy of thieves that followed the way of the book, the Thievius Raccoonus. And while the legacy is great, it is still a legacy covered in blood, something that affects everybody, not just Sly, everybody. This story isn't just Sly being a thief, it's recognizing the patterns and then walking away from it. While the Cooper lineage is amazing, it does come with a price. In the first game, Sly lost his father. In the second, Bentley lost his legs. And in the third, Sly loses Murray and Dr. M loses his mind over the treasure. The legacy hurts people. And by Sly turning his back on his legacy, he is setting himself and his friends free from any hardship down the line. Yes, Sly gave up his freedom in the end, something he fought tooth and nail for, but in the end, he realizes that everything he has will not last long if he continues down this path. Similar to his father, whose past eventually caught up with him and took his life. So Sly traded himself in so that his friends could be free, something he did in the second game, but in this game, it's permanent because it gave all of his friends a way out to a peaceful life, something that no Cooper has ever achieved. And that is why, ladies and gentlemen, Sly is the very best, and he will always sit on the throne of the legends of the PlayStation era of the early 2000s.